Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Welcome to another amazing episode of Boss Talks. And look, it's a special occasion for those of you that are on the podcast and not YouTube. Maybe you should go over and look at us on YouTube, because today you'd be seeing that Kristine is actually here in the flesh.
Yes. Look, we can touch each other.
That's right.
That sounded really weird.
That's really weird. Anyway, look, we are going to be speaking today about something that I actually was the backbone of building my business. It actually follows on from what we were even speaking about last week. You know, we had a great podcast around sales and selling without the sleaze. And, you know, one of the things that you can do to build your business is to create, you know, great people saying great things about you. And the way that you do that is to offer absolute top-notch customer service. And this sort of came around by Kristine actually receiving some not so great customer service. And we've all been there where you're just like, gosh, I'm not coming back to this place. And what we would love from you is for you to come back as well. Come back to our podcast. And we want to go one more step. We want you to pay the fee. And that is, when you find value from this, or maybe you're going to receive some terrible customer service in the future, and maybe they should listen to this podcast. Maybe that's the way you give them the gift. But when you find value from this podcast, share it, because that's how we get the word out. We're not running Facebook ads. This is word of mouth, and we want you to be the boss of your life. And being great to people and having a great customer service and being on mission is how you do it. It's how you take the reins of your own life. So, Kristine, did you know that 20% of completely 100% satisfied customers are looking to go somewhere else? And did you know that there's a statistic saying that 74% of people that leave your company and your service and what it is that you do, or stop buying your product, it's actually the number one reason is that they think that you don't care. Mm-hmm. So just those statistics alone, and, you know, some of the strategies we're going to share later is going to help you, like, effectively put that to bed, hopefully. Like that's crazy. Like, could you imagine, like, you think that there's people out there that are so happy with you, and yet they're still looking to go somewhere else? What do you think about that?
Well, I was baffled when you first said this, but the more I thought about it, the more it makes sense, because we're living in a really weird time where people, they love variety. They love the latest and greatest and next best thing. So I think that's a wake-up call for anyone that's in business to really keep leveling up your customer care, to change it up, to make it different. And this is something that I've really worked on over the years, having different businesses as well, is making sure I'm not doing the same thing all the time. So it's not predictable all the time. It's predictable enough that people know a certain standard to expect from you, but mix it up a little bit, you know? So I'll give you a couple examples, Joel. In one of my businesses, so I'll send like a handwritten note when they first start. Then I'll send random text messages like inspirational quotes, or maybe it's just something to say, hey, you know, you're awesome. Was just thinking of you today. Just wanted to let you know you're awesome. It could be like a little gift if they've been with you for 6 months or 12 months, like an anniversary gift. You know, there's so many little things that you can do to make someone's day. You have so many opportunities, and people might not like the whole customer care side of things. They might find it's a bit boring, but this is how we raise the vibration of the planet, doing kind acts of service for people. And customer care is massive. People want to know how much you care. And Joel just gave you those statistics like that. That's crazy that even satisfied people are still looking to go somewhere else. So you could be doing an incredible job with your customer care, and 20% of them are still looking to go with a competitor. Like, crazy stats.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And, you know, like, we can look at our own behavior. You know, something that's really funny is that we have like a double standard.
Yes.
We have a standard for what we do in our business for our customers, and then also what we expect from like people that are providing service, so it's like, it's weird. So like when you, like, it's so funny when you look at social media, you might be marketing in a certain way on social media, but then when you jump on social media, are you acting like the way you're marketing, like the way you're actually marketing your business? Are you, marketing to the people that are like with your habits, if you know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy. But what, like, when was the last time you had like crazy, amazing customer service? Like, does there a time that came to mind?
Yeah, so there's a couple actually, and I did mention one of them actually on last week's podcast. That this girl in this retail shop gave me incredible customer care, customer service, because I walked in there saying, "Look, I don't like shopping. This is what I want, and I got a voucher to spend. Like, can you just bring the stuff to me?" And she was like, "Yep, for sure." So she went and got like all these different kind of things off the shelf for the description of clothing that I wanted. And she was so honest and open with me about what looked good and what didn't look good. And we were in agreement with what looked, and we're like, "Nah, spots, nah, that doesn't look good." And she would go, "Nah, that's no good, Kristine. That's not what you're looking for. Let's try something else." And it was that honesty and integrity and that level of service that she gave me that day that I'm loyal to that shop because of that girl. Now she's gone on to a whole different career, and but I still go back to that shop because of that service. Now I haven't had the same level of service that girl delivered, but I've had close to it, and I think I don't want to mention the shop, but that shop has made thousands of dollars from me simply by that one staff member going above and beyond and meeting my needs, not her KPIs, not her needs. She was there and she was present and she met my needs that day and she solved my problems. I needed this, this, and this, and she was the solution to my problems. And that's just one area in the retail. But I love to eat out, Joel. You know me. I know you love it too. We love looking for great restaurants. And on the Gold Coast here, there's an incredible restaurant. Am I allowed to say the name?
Go for it. I don't think
Hideaway. I love Hideaway. Hey, all the Gold Coasters out there, if you haven't been to Hideaway, get to Hideaway. And Joel's going to share an amazing stat with you soon. But I go back to Hideaway all the time because I know what to expect when it comes to their food. They have a very high standard of what they deliver every single time. And whenever we have guests that used to come and stay with us when we lived on the Gold Coast, we always took them to Hideaway because it was the same level of service and the same standard of food every single time. Never had a bad meal there. And the staff, one in particular, Taylor, I don't know if you'll ever listen to this Boss Talks podcast, but if he's listening, Taylor knows who I am. He knows what I like to drink. He knows where we love to sit. He knows that, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian when I go to his shop. I can eat the meat stuff because it's so good. It's the one time that I, not too restrictive with my diet, but he just knows how to deliver incredible customer service. And that's why we keep going back, because they meet our expectations and often exceed it every single time. So they're probably two. So
it's great, like, that you mentioned that. And what came up for me listening to that is that if like multiple staff in an organization are giving you tremendous levels of service, that would indicate to me that it's coming from the top. You've got a great, so there's a lot of places that would, I actually went to a reasonably local gym, and the way the sign up process actually, I'm a pretty calm guy these days, but I actually was getting pretty annoyed. And because what they said when the agreement was, when they were explaining to me and what they were doing were two different things. And this guy that was the manager came out and, was helping in inverted commas. And this, this young girl, basically he blamed her. Mm. And I was like, hang on a minute. Like he was trying to agree with me, but then blame her. I said, hang on a minute. I know that you guys are a franchise gym and you have processes that you need to follow. And here's how you would get my loyalty. I actually said, you guys need a consultant to come through here and help you with your customer service because it's so atrocious. Like I said, I'm borderline ready to walk out. And that's when he blamed her. And I was like, no, man. She's been amazing. She's the only reason that I'm still standing here because at least she's been polite. More than, and anyway, he saw the writing on the wall. He got the hell out of there. But, like that would be an example of a CEO and an organization that has really trashed, customer service strategies. Whereas Hideaway and that girl and the business that girl worked at had great ones. And, Andy Frisella has great ones. Like we've spoken about him so much. We're loyal subscribers to his podcast. I've bought from this shirt is Andy Frisella's actually. And, I'm wearing his gear. If you can see it on YouTube. But I bought his, and I paid extra money to get it shipped to Australia. And he's appreciated that. And I'm not saying Andy Frisella's there writing out handwritten notes to everyone, but he's got staff members that actually handwrite a thank you and then show how much they appreciate us. And like if there's anything that they can do to help make us better, like let them know. And I did have a problem the first time I got something sent over and they just solved it. It got so think about it. It cost to get it delivered to me like $40 postage. It was like $40 American postage. And because there was a error with the post, it actually got sent all the way back.
Oh no.
And they just so they were out 40, and then they sent it back at their cost. So there's no way they were making money on that. But I've bought more shirts since then. Their products were really great, like their children's books. I got the children's books for my kids, and they are so great.
That's awesome.
And I was like, so that's the level of, and there was no making me wrong. Like I could have been wrong, but they wouldn't have made me feel wrong. They just sorted it out. And you listen to his podcast, and this is customer service. Like he's got a business partner out of it. And we're on the other side of the world and we're talking about his business and his podcasts and his service and his children's books because he gave great customer service. And I want the listeners to understand how powerful that is and just how powerful the opposite is. Because everyone has access to social media and people love jumping on bandwagons, especially when it's negative. So you make one wrong move and be a jerk, a lot of people are going to know really quickly. Like it's not like the old days where you'd have to write a letter to the paper and then eventually you'd meet people at the club and the community meetings and you'd eventually get the word out that, hey, that shop gives shitty service. It's instantaneous now and you can just, it takes you a lifetime to get a great reputation and you can lose it overnight in 1 second just if you make a wrong move and if you're being a jerk.
Yeah, and this is how the podcast topic came up today, actually, because yesterday I got shitty customer service and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of getting people that are just hating on life or hating their jobs and like, guys, you're vibrating really low and you're bringing the rest of us down with you. So cut it out. But I was on a flight yesterday, Joel, and it was with a regional airline, and fair enough, this lady's trying to do a job, but there was a few things like that I wasn't aware of that I got in trouble for, and I was made to feel like I was the naughty kid in class at school. And then my 3-year-old son was busting for the bathroom. We were waiting for the turbulence to stop, and then we heard the ding, and when you hear the ding, usually the light goes off for the belt, but we just heard the ding, didn't even look up to see if the belt light was on, took him to the bathroom and then got in trouble again on the announcer, on the mic. This is a small plane, by the way. On the microphone, we got in trouble. And then that wasn't enough. Then halfway through the flight, she had to come over and give us another serve of, how our son could have cracked his head and broken his neck and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we were made to feel really, really bad, very, very wrong. It was done in a condescending way. And I know Joel's going to ask me, are you going to fly with them again? Probably not. They've probably just lost thousands of dollars because I don't want to fly with them again just because of this one lady's reaction. And I had to bite my tongue. And we were talking before this and Joel's like, how did you remain so calm and not say anything. And it took all my power, because usually in those situations I would try and, correct the other person.
So
But
how many times a year do you fly?
at least like once a month,
Once a month.
like, yeah, maybe more.
Yeah, probably more at sometimes. And
Mm.
and also, how many people do you know?
Thousands.
Thousands. Like, I'd say tens of thousands,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
you're a world-class speaker.
Yeah.
You speak on stages all across the planet,
Mm-hmm.
and you do a lot of traveling. So it's probably going to come up, who do you use? And you are not going to recommend that person or that airline. And people will listen to you because you've got influence. Like, that's crazy that business has done that, and you just never know who you're speaking to.
Exactly right.
You
You never
know
know who you're speaking to. Now, on the flip side of that, before we started the podcast today, I was telling Joel about this young guy in a local Woolworths where I live, who just loves his job as a checkout, what do you call him? Checkout person.
Yeah.
And people in the supermarket, so customers line up in his lane to get his service. Like, people are willing to wait to get his attention, and he knows their names. He's so polite, he's so friendly, he's vibrating at a much higher level to everybody else. It makes everyone else in the shop look really crap, actually. Now, I actually haven't been through he's always so busy, so it's so hard to get. Who says that about a Woolworths checkout person? No one ever. Like, it's so hard to get eye contact from some of them these days. But I actually met this guy's mum, didn't even know it was his mum, and she just mentioned that her son works at this Woolworths, and I was like, oh, wouldn't happen to be that tall, such and such guy. He's so happy, and he's like, people line. And she goes, yeah, that's my son. I'm like, oh my goodness, you've raised an incredible young man. But that's the flip side. Like, that, people would look at, a checkout job as being really monotonous, and, it's probably not everyone's dream job, and it would be really great, like, easy for people to play at that smaller level. But this guy just explodes and lights up your day and makes you feel so special and so good about yourself. And that's what I think, if you're in any kind of business or any kind of service role where you're in contact with people, that's your opportunity to really make someone's day and to really lift the vibration of the planet. This is how we do it, guys, by acting kind, respectful, giving the eye contact, delivering that customer care, asking people, how's your day going? It could just be as simple as that. Someone who is depressed or anxious or, having a really bad day, you've got the opportunity to turn that person's day around, with just some simple acts of kindness. And it doesn't have to be much, does it?
Yeah. And to get real business about this, the customer you are being rude to is paying your wage. Remember that. If that till doesn't ring, you don't get a paycheck at the end of the week. So you best be looking after your customers, because they're how you pay your mortgage. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a service or anything like that. You need to don't go around trying to burn bridges. Because you've got a bee in your bonnet, because you've had a bad day. You need to put that stuff to bed and still remember, the hand that feeds you. Like, don't bite it. Because how long do you think that airline could continue like that? If that became the norm, it will go under. I could not have. I would not have a coaching business. I would not have had I would never have built my supermarkets, because I had a shitty store. I didn't have any stock. I couldn't afford to buy stock. I was really, really, really new. I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was how to make people's day.
Yeah.
And remember, learn their damn names. Learn their names. If you can't learn names, find a strategy. So, like, when you get a card from a supermarket, what do you think it's for? Do you think it's actually to give you points? Do you think it's actually to create some, give you stuff? Do you actually think it's to get you to come back? It's actually, when it's used properly, used so the checkout person can swipe your card and they know your name. because your name is the most important. Your name is your most important word. It's the most powerful word in your life. So if I say, hey mate, how you going? Or I go, hey Kristine, great to see you. You're like, you won't even know why you want to come back. You're going to be attracted to the store. And that's the same thing. So find a strategy. So when I like I do a lot of coaching calls, I meet new people all the time. I write their name down because I know it's like, it's important to me to be a good person to them and leave them in a better position than I found them. Whether they shop with me or not, whether they become a client or not, that's irrelevant. But yeah, you want to get their name right. So, you know, I've got a strategy. I write their name down because like sometimes shit happens. You can get busy. You can be like things running over in your mind, but it really comes back to how can you use a strategy to be present for them, like you were saying before, that young girl was for you. So
they're saying your name now when they scan your boarding pass on some airlines. You know, thank you, Joel. There's your ticket. You know, so it makes a massive difference just by hearing your name.
It's your name.
Can you tell the listeners about what you were telling me about restaurants, like how?
Okay. Yeah. So I was watching this guy. He's a high-level business coach, and he was sharing how he helps really change businesses for the better, explode their bottom line and top line. And he knows his numbers. He knows the statistics. So at a restaurant, and this would transfer into your business as well, the first time someone comes in, there's a 40% chance that they're going to come a second time. And when they come the second time, there's a 42% chance that they're going to come a third time. And when they come the third time, there's a 70% chance that they're going to come back a fourth time. And once they're a fourth time return customer, you've got them. And like, I don't mean you got them. I mean like, hey, they're a loyal customer. You best be looking after them. You've done a good job. You've done a great job. They want to come back. So it's a habit for them, right? So what this guy does to make this happen, to sort of raise those percentages, is when they're a brand new customer, he identifies them and he says, instead of using a white napkin, use a red napkin. And that's a signal to your entire staff that, hey, this person's a first-time customer. We need to turn it up. We want them coming back. And at the end of that, he comes up at the end of their meal. He comes, like, obviously he looks after them, you know, water, like bread's free, all that kind of stuff, gives them the extra, you know, he comes up and he goes, hey, like, how did you enjoy the ribs? How did you enjoy your meal? Whatever it is. And they've been given great service. So they're going to be like, oh my God, this was amazing. How great was this? And what he does, he goes, hey, look, if you love the ribs, you've got to try the chicken next time. And he takes out a card out of his pocket and he hand writes on 20% off the chicken next time you come. So what does that do? He says, hand this to the front desk when you walk in the counter, when you come in, and you're going to get this. It's from me, from the manager or from the head waiter. What that does is, like, they come in, and as soon as they hand it to the front counter, the staff knows that they're a second time customer. So they go through the meal, they give this great service, like, which they're going to be giving to all their customers, but, you know, they turn the dial up a bit. At the end of this, he goes, how is the chicken? Were you full? And he says he makes sure that they get really full, really fill them up. He goes, oh, look, I know you're full now, but next time you come in, you got to just try the cheesecake. And he gets his pen out again and gets his card out and he goes, next time you come in, the cheesecake is on the house. It's out. It's on me. Just come in, free cheesecake. So then that's the third visit taken care of. And, like, can you see, like, for probably about $6, $10, you've actually raised the number and the likelihood of these people coming back. Now, Gary Vee had another strategy. He said, so this is how you do it in the digital world. And the same sort of thing. And he said, what he does is he goes into restaurants or businesses and he finds, if it was a restaurant, he'd go down and he'd search the area that they're in. And he'd find people that are visiting the area or live in the area that have reasonable followings. So he said, like, in the last 45 minutes, there's been 20 28 posts about the Gold Coast. He found someone that had a reasonably high following, so he had 3,000 people following them, and he reached out to them with direct message and say, "Hey, listen, pleased to meet you. See that you're visiting the Gold Coast, and we love our tourists in our business, and we'd love to give you a 20% discount on your meal if you come in." Now, this is all about understanding behavior of customers, right? So this is pretty tactical, right? What's the likelihood that an influencer on Instagram is going to come in, eat the food, and then not take photos of the food and plaster it to their 3,000 or 10,000 followers and tag where they're at?
Yeah.
Now, when they come in, you'd be doing the whole first-time customer thing and really over-deliver for them. And listen, over-deliver for all your customers. We're not saying, hey, don't over-deliver for your customers, but can you see how this could work for your gym? It could work for your coaching business. This could work for so many things. And it's just a way of marketing. And what are you losing? 20% on a meal, and that could cost you what, $10, $20, whatever it costs you. But then that goes out to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, hundreds of thousands of people. And you could create a real wave. Like that ripple effect could be crazy. And you only need one crazy influencer to say that you're freaking awesome. And you got it. And you're a crazy influencer. You could say anything you say is great. People are going to go to.
I do love taking photo of food, by the way. And this is why your food has to look good, because people will take a photo of it, like myself, and we'll put it out there to the world. And if it tastes amazing, well, you loved Hideaway, and Hideaway got a plug on this. They got a plug. And while we're here on the Gold Coast, we're only here for 2 weeks. Guess where we're going? We're going to Hideaway. And hopefully Taylor's on that night, and we'll have a good old chat. I will tell you to listen to the podcast, but more so, Kylie Foster, hey Kylie, she's a massive Hideaway fan as well. She's never lived on the Gold Coast, but every time she comes, she goes there. And then I told her about Taylor. So then Taylor and her are having a conversation when she went to Hideaway about me. And it's just had this massive ripple effect. Now, they've got a couple of Taylors that work there. So this is the male Taylor. I think the other Taylor's a female. So it's all good. But they're all amazing. They're all amazing. They just make you feel so welcome there. But I lost my train of thought. But I wanted to share a few, well, I suppose the downside of it, I guess, and really owning it when you give shit customer care. Okay. And I've done that before where it's not that so much that I've given bad customer care. It's just that I've stopped doing any customer care, customer service, stopped providing it. So I think if that happens, or if you're in a business right now, I think you've got to own it and just go, you know what, I've messed up. And what I did for my customers, Joel, was I actually sent them a personal video message to each of them, just to say, hey guys, I'm so sorry. I really dropped the ball with my customer care. It's not the standard that I wanted to uphold. I let life get in the way, blah, 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 but I'm back and I'm ready to deliver. And if there's anything that I can do to make your experience, excel your experience, then I would absolutely love to be able to do that, and the messages that I got back from that going, no, Kristine, you've been amazing. Because I still sent random things now and then, I've got ebooks and things like that. But it still wasn't the standard that I wanted to do. But they all came back so well received from that message, and they were like, "No, I think you've been very hard on yourself and everything like that." But since I've taken my customer care up to that next level, they've also loved that as well. So all the extra personal touches and things like that. So if you have screwed up, or if you've said the wrong thing, or if you've stopped doing the customer caring, just own it, guys, and let them know. And they're going to respect you so much more because you took the higher ground, because you were honest and transparent and you didn't try and hide it. Yeah. And Joel and we stuffed up big time today in one of our businesses.
Yeah, we did.
And I was thinking of all these excuses, how we could hide it. And then Joel's like, we got to own this. We've got to take responsibility. We totally dropped the ball on this one. And it wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't a big thing. It's just we didn't market and remind people that we had value to provide that was going to cost them nothing.
Yep.
It's a bit of their time. And we got there and it fell through the cracks. And, what's great about this? Well, now we just have to put a system in so that doesn't happen again. Mm. And we don't let our customers down, let our clients down. That was, and we can put it on. We own it, and we just say, yeah, you know, and we're publicly saying we're not perfect by saying this on the podcast. And I'm super proud of both of us actually for saying it, because we could have just like acted like we're perfect, like so many people out there. But you know, you make mistakes. You're not meaning it. You don't, you know. And look, is the customer always right? Do you believe that?
They're not always right, but you don't want to ever make them feel wrong. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It's not always an argument that's worth winning, you know? So like something like, look, you gotta, there is a point for me where I would stand my ground and just go, well, like, you know, whatever. Like, it's just like, I can't go down this road any further, because it actually makes no sense at all. Like I've had in my younger days, and I wasn't as awakened or as patient as I am now, but I still had to find a way, like, okay, how, and I would ask questions like, okay, because like your staff can make comments that actually make it worse. So you can't, like I would have, and they're just, some of them were kids. I didn't know what to say. So you get called up because you're the manager. You get called up and you got to handle it. And, you know, what most people want is to be heard.
Yeah.
They want to be heard. So I'm going to go out on a pretty big rant now. If you are a business and you think you're so big that you can't be gotten on the phone, like by someone who wants to make a complaint, like, you think about it. By the time you're ready to ring your telco about your like dissatisfaction with their, like, are you happy? Are you just like ring up and say, hey, like, you are already irate to ring up and complain. Like, people want to be able to make complaints on the phone because they want to be heard. So don't block them. Don't be like these big businesses and companies that make it really difficult to do that. You'll find that once if you lose the plot there and you get them on there and they can't get through to you, they're going to go to social media straight away and absolutely tear you an absolute new one. So make it easy for people to complain to you, and then ask them, okay, so like how do you see this? Like, what do you see this? How do you see this going? Like, how do we make this better for both of us? Like, and like you said before, own it. You know, how do we see this? Like, you can't, like, there's going to be customers that are completely unreasonable. Let's say, I want your car, or something like that. They're not right. They're not right there. Like, believe me, you can have some crazy like requests, but you know, at the same time, so you got to stand your ground when it's that crazy, when it's like
absolutely.
that level of crazy. But like at the end of the day, like, people just want to be heard in a planet where people are increasingly just looking on the phone. That's why the girls at the checkout, the young girls that are like at the Woolworths checkout, don't make eye contact, because I bet you if you did a FaceTime, they could do it. It's just they're just not used to it. It's not their fault. It's just the world we live in now.
True.
So like, and I think that because Woolworths is so big, maybe they fall through the cracks. Maybe they don't get trained correctly. Maybe they don't. So like, I know the sort of person you are. You'd actually like make them do it. You'd find a way to ask them questions to get them, like, you know, I open up a bit. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's nothing I love more than a cranky checkout chick, because I go over the top with my niceness. I try and make them smile or just laugh or something. Like, I turn it around and like, I'm going to make this person's day. This person's having a shit day. If they can't even look at me and ask me how I am, then I'm just going to be over the top nice. So look out for those people that come across me. You know, but it's so true though, what you were saying.
Yeah. Like, and no one is actually, like, very few times will you come across someone who's actually an asshole. How do you know that person that is ringing up to complain to you or is having a go at you, how do you know that their dog didn't die this morning? How do you know that that's actually what they're angry at? So like, I'm not saying you've got to be a doormat. Like, don't be a doormat. But at the same time, like, you just got to really don't make decisions based on emotion. Like, make it judge on feeling. Feel, okay, what's this really about? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And like, why are, like, we used to have people tell us to argue the point over like some cherries when I'd sell cherries, and I'd be like, they come in, they'd be complaining, like they'd walk me up the front to complain about the cherries, and I'd be like, just take some new cherries. I apologize, they didn't last like 25 days in your refrigerator. The $2 that I'm going to be out, like, wasn't worth, like I was getting paid more than $2
Yeah, choose
to
your battles.
walk up there, you know, like just take it. Like I didn't care. Like, so yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. Yeah. And there's the odd few, but most people have a good heart. Most people want to do the right thing.
Just like there's 8 assholes in the world, and you might have just met all 8 of them in 1 week.
But when you were saying that about, you know, someone's dog might have died, or, you know, it actually happened to me in America a couple of years ago when I was there. This lady was giving me such crappy service, right? So I went in and I was trying to be over the top nice. And then I actually asked her, you know, is everything okay? And she said, my daughter's school has just rung me to say there's someone with a gun at the school. Like it. And this was just after all those school shootings and stuff like that. And she couldn't get off work to go and be there. They wouldn't let her go. So, of course, she's giving crappy customer care because she's worried about her kid at this school. But I could actually read it enough to go, hey, hang on a second, are you okay? You know? And then when she told me that, I was like, oh, my goodness, like, we really are in America. Like, this is crazy. Like, so, yeah, you just never know. Like, sometimes there's something deeper there to why you're receiving, you know, poor customer care. So don't always sort of take that face value. I wanted to mention JT Fox. Like JT Fox, some people really, really love him. Some people really, really hate him. He is a very wealthy businessman and coach. And he has this really simple process of armbands, you know, like the plastic rubber armbands that you get. And so he has a system kind of like the restaurant system. So when someone's brand new, they get a certain color band, but he's got this whole concept of, you know, once you're a client, you're wherever you come in within the JT Fox business, you're part of the family. Okay. And people want, and they wear them with pride. So when you've got a certain color, that's because you're like a lifetimer. Like you're rocking up to all his events. Like you get to go to his events for free, and you've been to his house, and you know all this stuff. And people know that when they're looking around that room and you've got that band on, wow, you've been to JT's house. Wow, you do personal like. And some of them wear like 5 or 6 of them. They're all different colored, all color coded. Now for the coaches and for JT, when he's scanning the room, he can see who's new based on the armband. He can see who's a first time client. He can see the people that have been to his house, the people that have been with him for years. And I just think that's such a smart strategy. And he does it with the ties as well. And Joel's actually got one of his ties.
I do.
And he signed it.
He signed it. And that was after he actually called me out over the microphone for not signing up to his thing. He basically called me a loser. In front of everyone. That was like one of my first events that I ever went to. And he just, I think because he could see I was close to signing up, and like I think he just wanted to give me the extra push. Like I don't know, a grudge. It just doesn't doesn't help anything. But you know, he seems to be successful. And look, I just went down another path. But like, yeah, it was funny because like it was, you know, I ended up getting the tie. I got someone else to go buy it for me, and then because like ironically, he said whoever buys the tie, you get the photo with them. And then he called me out, and I got someone else to buy the tie because I was like, bugger you don't call me out in front of everyone. And I got the tie, and he's got this photo, and he's fixing it up for me. He's like, he took it all as a joke. It was his first time in Australia, actually.
Yeah, right.
It was like a couple of years. It's like, all my memories are coming up about it.
Yeah,
now. Like,
yeah.
So I was like,
that's
pretty
funny.
Cool. But yeah, it was.
He doesn't mind if he offends that guy. He just says what he thinks, and good on him. I love that. I love that he's But
you got to say what you think. You got to like, you know, like be. People will not like it, and then there'll be people out there just like you that will like it, and you will attract your tribe, and that's how you attract like loyal followers. You don't need to be like Tony Robbins and have millions of followers. If you like, I've read statistics that show that if you have 1,000 like true followers, that you know, and what a true follower is, like a raving fan, that will basically, as soon as you put up a program, they buy it. You need 1,000 of them, and you're financially free and then some. You
Mm.
know, like you only got like, and check the strategy out. Go look at the successful coaches on the planet. They don't have everyone. They just have their tribe. Like, so I can see successful coaches out there that I don't agree with, but they've got their tribe of people that do agree with. And it's same in like, even in network marketing, you see some, like there's really, really successful people in MLM that just have like 20 to 30-year-old girls that don't have kids. It's specific, and they're speaking to those girls. And I could promise gold-plated Bentleys, and they're not going to want to come with me. But then I'm not trying to market.
I would. Can I have a gold-plated Bentley?
But you're not a 20-year-old girl that has no kids.
I look like I'm 20. No, look at this face.
Oh, I get that. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, ultimately, like getting people in is one thing, and then getting them to stay is another, and that's customer service. Like you really, it's, you know, I was talking to my business coach the other day, and he said, look, it's all well and good to have awesome Instagram pics, the look the part, but once you get people into your programs and everything like that, like if you don't have the goods, you're dead in the water right there.
Yeah.
So you just
so
got to
true.
like, that's why what we do with our business is successful, because we've got the goods as well. We're actually, we're the other way around. We're working on the pretty Instagram pics, not the other way around. We built the business first, which is another podcast. But yeah, that's what I do. So like tips, like any final tips, like have you got any?
Look, a lot of people are probably listening to this going, I just don't have the funds for a big customer care budget, and you don't need it. You really don't. A handwritten note. I just got, I think Canva actually printed for me. So I got a thank you note. It's kind of like a postcard. So it's a picture of me on there. Like I think it says thank you on the front. And then on the back, I handwrite a note to the guests that come on my podcast, my other podcast, to say thank you very much. And it's handwritten, it's personal, and I send them a little gift. It could just be a follow-up call, guys. Like check in with your customer. Are they happy with the product? Are they happy with the service? You know, last week's podcast, I spoke about the chick that did my eyebrows and lashes. I wasn't 100% happy, but the follow-up service that the manager gave me through a text message has made me go, you know what? I'll probably go back to them, you know, because who does that? Like when you go and get a product or a service, no one's sending a text message to follow up to see if you're happy with it. Okay. So, an inspirational quote. Why don't you send out your clients an inspirational quote via a text message or on Facebook, or send them a voice message or a video message so they can actually see you. There's an app out there called Dub Smash where you can record funny personalized birthday messages for people. And it's not your voice, but you mime it, and that's awesome customer service. You know, little funny things like that. And then you've got like, for my long-term clients that have been with me for over 12 months, I send an ecological gift at the 12-month mark. So it could be like a bamboo toothbrush. It could be like a reusable straw. It could be like, these are all things that are amazing for the planet. You don't have to have a big budget for. It's easy to post, nice and cheap, doesn't weigh much. So these are just all simple things. You know, when people hit their 50th, or their 40th, I love to give bamboo watches, send them a bamboo watch, you know. These are not that expensive, but it's something different. Not everyone has a wooden watch, you know, and things like that. So I don't know. What are your tips? What are some things that you've done?
What I received I went to an event on the weekend, and I got an award. Like I got an award certificate. I got to pick out of a lucky dip, and I pulled out a gratitude book. And it's really great for the kids. Like, I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for all this. It's really simple. And then I got handed out a candle, and this is the one I want to speak about. Like, I got a candle with the word #empower on it. Now, that candle probably cost like, I don't know what a candles cost, like like not the super expensive ones. I mean, like ones that you might have got that from like Big W.
Yeah, like $10 or something like that, maybe less.
I reckon it was less.
Yeah.
Honestly, less. And then what's the stencil with sparkly word empowering? Now, listen,
Mm.
it was for network marketing, so it was directed at women, and I have a wife, so I got one. Okay, so but the fact that that didn't just go in the bin.
Mm.
That's at my house, and like if I wasn't on camera, I would have gone and got it and shown you guys like. And I'm talking about it now, and I remember who gave it to me, and I like, you see, and like I'm most likely never going to be a customer of this person, but I'm damn sure going to refer them if someone is a customer, a potential customer, and just the fact that they gave that out to everyone, and you know, it is amazing. Now think about this, like when you get a generic thank you card. Like or a generic anything. It's just printed out. Where does it go? Probably
trash.
Probably goes in the trash, right? But what happens if someone handwrites you, like that's important, who handwrites you and does it on a postcard and shows like a photo of where they are and makes it really personal. My guess is that's the kind of thing that ends up staying in your drawer for years. See, there's a difference. Like if you make it personal, like it's, and you put some feeling into it, and it's not just like, so like for our business, we write out like welcome cards. We deliver toolboxes. So not with spanners in it, like literally like we send out books with nice pens with a welcome to and congratulation card, and you know, really showing them appreciation, showing them like who does that? Like a nice pen. Like if you're coaching with us, we want you to write it in a great book with a nice pen. So you're going, oh, wow. Now, where's that book going to be? Even if it was shelf development, it's going to go on your bookshelf. It's not going to go in the bin, right? Whereas like some of the exercise books, and if it were just to write an A4 paper, like if you didn't have that book, you'd probably write, if you really rush to get on the call, which sometimes people are, clients do, they're going to write it on paper, and then where's the paper go? Yep. You see, and then it's a ripple effect, guys.
That's something Scott DeMullen did, wasn't it? Like we went to one of Scott DeMullen's events, and he had handwritten. We bought the hot seats, and he hand wrote in the journals, you know, congratulations and for being here and investing in yourself or whatever it was, and it was personalized, and it was just a nice little touch, wasn't it? And
do you know, speaking of Scott DeMullen, remember when he followed us up, he wasn't following us up, hey, come and buy my next program. He was following up because he knew we're in the health and wellness business with articles he found that he thought would be helpful to our business. That's how he emailed it to you, Linda, and myself. Like that guy is a multi-millionaire coach that's been around the best in the business. He coaches the best in the business, big names that you would all know. And he's taken their careers to the stratosphere. And that's how he does it. He follows up people like us. We're not like the top of the chain yet. Our content is, but from context, we're certainly not successful in the league of Tony Robbins and Eric Worre's and all that kind of stuff. But he followed us up like that. What if you followed up your clients and your customers with stuff that's important to them? Like it's not hard.
That's key. I love that you just said that, because I was just thinking of something like if you don't know your customers, I think this is something that JT said, like someone gave him a bottle of wine and he doesn't drink wine. And then someone gave him some chocolates or biscuits or something. He's gluten intolerant. He doesn't do dairy. He doesn't, and this gift, their heart was in the right place. But if they had have taken the time to actually really know him, they would have known that could have made him really sick. And it's the same like with us, isn't it? Like I know I'm not going to buy Joel a bottle of wine. He doesn't drink wine, you know. A gift that you gave me actually was one of the best gifts I've ever had. Joel knows one of my branding is Fit, Fearless and Free. And him and Vicky gave me 3 candles, Fit written on one, fearless on another, and free on another. And they're still too good to use. I don't know what's going to happen. They'll be like a family heirloom or something. But that's taking the time to get to know somebody. And I think that's crucial. Simon Chan, I was Simon Chan's MC recently, and he sent me a gift. And he said, Kristine, I saw you sitting in the back of the room taking notes. I thought I'd send you this this notebook. And it was beautiful. It was like a brown leather one with the tree of life on the front. And it was just beautiful, handwritten note. Simon Chen is amazing, by the way. If anyone wants customer service tips, he personally sends people a video, sings happy birthday to them and sends it to you on your birthday, uses your name. If he's doing a Facebook Live and he sees you jumping on, he uses your name. Hey, great, Kristine, great to see you on here. Handwritten notes, thank you notes. Like, he's very big on that. And what Joel and I do is we learn from these people, and then that forces us to lift our game. We're seeing what goes on and we implement it, and that makes us play at a higher level as well. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, oh my God, I've got so much to do, just start with one thing. Don't try and implement everything that we've given you today, but I hope that what you've done from this podcast is gone, you know what, there's room for improvement. And you can implement one or two things that we've spoken about that is going to improve your bottom line, that's going to help you make more people's days. I don't even know if I said that right, but that affects your branding. What are people saying about you behind your back, about your business behind your back? There's an incredible tire guy where we live in Albury. I think it's Sunday Tires. And what he does, I haven't even used him yet, but I'm going to next time I need tires on my car. My mum couldn't read the tire codes. She didn't know what kind of tires she needed. So he came out to her house, took a look. He goes, yep, I'll have to order these in, Wendy. But what I'll do is I'll come back and you give me a day that suits you, and I'll pick your car up, I'll take it in, I'll change the tires. And that's what he did. So he came back again, left his car there, took her car, changed the tires, brought it back. And he just said, are you okay with computers? Are you fairly computer savvy? She said, oh, I'm not too bad, because you can just pay right now if you want on this device. And she just put all the details in. It was done like that. There was no fluffing around with invoices or anything. And my mum has gone and told thousands of people already, like on social media. I said, Mum, you can actually help his business if you jump on Facebook, share it, go to his Facebook page, leave a review like that. And she couldn't believe that it was that easy for her to promote his business. So she's gone to do that. Then she's told all her friends in this gated community where she lives, I don't know, there's like 300 residents. She's told them all where to go to get their tires. So it doesn't take a lot for him to jump in the car and come out and measure up her tires and find out so that he gets the correct ones in. It was probably 10, 15 minutes out of his day, cost him a little bit in petrol, but look what's happened. Look at that ripple effect. That's going above and beyond.
And like, did price become part of the equation with your mum then when that level of service was given?
It didn't, but you know what she said? She's like, oh, I'm a pensioner. And he goes, you know what, Wendy, let's round it down to the nearest 100. So we took off an extra $20 or whatever, I don't know. And
you're charging that to marketing, not as an expense out of your pocket. That will create a ripple effect of like thousands of dollars. So that $20 in that time, you know, I'm
going to use this guy.
Yeah.
He sounds amazing.
I want to drive down there and get my tires changed. It's so good. Yeah. And once again, we're on a podcast with thousands of people listening that are now knowing about this guy. You know what I mean? Like it's happening live. It's actually happening live on the podcast. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
See the power of customer service, guys. Get stuck into it.
I hope we get heaps of customer service when we go to restaurants. We get extra food now, so people get a shout out on our podcast.
You know what? Like, I'm just thinking, like,
send us your gifts.
Yeah, I'm thinking, oh my God, like we should send this to Hideaway and they'll invite us for dinner. And
you're going to get a free dinner.
Yeah. They will really give a shout out.
Honestly, that's not what it's about though, guys. But literally, like, we could all be doing better. You know, we really can. No one's got it down pat.
No.
But just if you're not implementing what you're learning out there, if you're not even aware of these opportunities for learning and implementing, then, you know, you're not going to be successful. If we see something in another business, someone doing something better than we're doing, we don't feel bad. We don't feel jealous. We congratulate them. And then it makes us lift our game. And if you can have that mindset, and honestly, you're on your way, because it might be just that 1 degree of change, that one thing that you implement that changes the whole direction of your business and that whole bottom line. And that's where customer service, going above and beyond for people, can turn you from earning thousands to millions.
That's absolutely true. The idea of sending the book out with a nice pen was because I got that when I coached with Kirk Ashley. The handwritten letter, like, it's not something new, but when I received it from Andy Priscilla, I was just like, wow, this is so awesome. Look, Kristine. And she's like, oh, you should do that for our business. I'm like, absolutely. What a great idea. It's like what we are happy with, we've implemented into our business, and it works. And you know what? Even if someone was to not like be totally happy with the product, if we're good at the customer service, like, and we have to part ways, like, it's on good terms. There's no like negativity, negative energy. We're not chasing down, because, you know, negative energy is 10 times heavier at least than positive energy. So while you're trying to hold on to that negative energy and you're arguing with this customer, you probably are missing 10 new ones coming into you, because like the positive ones are 10, like it's 10 to 1. So yeah, it's crazy. Don't mess with the numbers.
That's it. Well, I think our listeners got lots of value from this. I got value from it. It makes me want to up my game again.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking the same thing. I want to up my game. So yeah, if you have any ideas, anything that's worked for you, like, send us a message. Like, you can find us on social media. You can find us on YouTube under the Boss Talks logo, and on the Boss Talks channel.
On Instagram now.
Instagram, absolutely.
And we need to give Val a shout out.
Oh, Valerie. Like,
Val Gamer.
Seriously, I've been shouting her out all day. Like, I'm not joking. I did calls before this. I'm like, follow this girl, follow this woman. Right before I was talking to you.
Yes.
I'm a fan from one call, and she has just been so kind to our podcast. She's seen what's worked for other podcasts. She's helped other podcasters, and she's just come out of the woodwork.
She's received no financial value from helping us at all. She's just a kind-hearted person. And if you're not following her on Instagram, you should be Val Gamer.
She's winning, right?
She's winning. She's winning in life. She's aligned and in flow and very creative, and she's amazing. Amazing soul. So thank you, Val. You are incredible. And thank you to all our listeners, all our loyal listeners. The messages are still coming in every week. We love reading them. We love receiving them. Make sure you give us a rating. If you're loving these podcasts, give us a rating of 5 and leave a review, good, bad, or ugly. We don't mind. But again, congratulations for making it this far through the podcast and listening to us. Once again, we have a lot of fun doing these, and so glad to be here in person, Joel.
In person.
On the Gold Coast.
Amazing.
Much better weather.
Yes. Have a outstanding day.
Bye.
Damn. Yeah.